The only indication of what we have learned from people that were actually in that vehicle on that day came from Frank Turek. And he does discuss with Megyn Kelly him getting his bag at the hospital after the FBI cleared the vehicle. I don't want to put words into his mouth. Let's take a listen to what Frank Turek had to say.
It started with a single interview, Candace Owens, Piers Morgan, and a conversation that went from tense to explosive in a matter of minutes. The topic, the death of Charlie Kirk, and the people Candace believes may have played a role. Piers didn't hold back. He pressed her hard, demanded names, demanded specifics, wanted to know exactly who she was pointing the finger at. Candace didn't flinch. She stayed calm, measured, but she didn't back down. And then she said something that changed everything. She had warned Erika Kirk, Charlie's widow, about two individuals, two people within Turning Point USA. She didn't name them, not yet, but the message was clear. Something wasn't right, and she had seen it coming. That's where things stop adding up. But the story doesn't end with that interview. Days later, Candace went live, and she went deeper. She talked about federal agents, strange behavior, actions that happened on the day Charlie died. According to her account, there was an FBI agent driving a white SUV in Provo, and then footage started circulating online. A white SUV, similar make, similar model, and it was allegedly connected to Tyler Robinson. The man, authorities say, acted alone. But if federal agents were involved that day, if there was coordination behind the scenes, then the lone wolf narrative starts to crumble. That's the part that raises questions. Candace released photos, not just any photos. Photos of the vehicle that transported Charlie that day. Frank Turek was inside that SUV. On the way to the hospital, she analyzed his interview with Megyn Kelly, word by word, and what she found didn't match the official timeline. The vehicle, the handling of evidence, the gaps in the story, nothing lined up, and that's when the focus shifted from the event itself to what happened after.
They roped off the vehicle that we took out of there as a crime scene. I don't know why. It wasn't part of the crime scene, really. So we couldn't get into the vehicle until the FBI cleared it. And it happened that Charlie, in the back seat below him, between these two bucket seats, was my computer bag. So everything, I couldn't go anywhere. You know, my wallet was in there. I wasn't going anywhere anyway, but I had to go in and get that out. And so when they finally cleared it, I got into the car and I pulled out my bag, and draped over my bag was Charlie's necklace that had a cross and medallions on it. And I had heard they were looking for that. And so cop was like, "Oh, we've been looking for that." I said, "I got it."
This isn't speculation. This is based on Frank Turk's own testimony. Frank said federal agents initially barred him from entering the SUV. They told him they needed to secure it first. Standard procedure maybe. But here's where it gets strange. Later, Frank retrieved his belongings from the vehicle, and that's when he found something. Charlie's cross necklace, draped neatly over his bag. The necklace had come off during the incident. That much is confirmed. So how did it end up back inside the vehicle? Frank claims an officer told him, "We've been looking for that." But if they were looking for it, why was it already back in the SUV? Who placed it there? And when? The timeline doesn't support the official explanation. It suggests someone retrieved it, handled it, moved it. And for those who believe in symbolism, the cross becomes something more, a symbol of faith, of truth, of something being deliberately returned or deliberately staged. Then came the tip. Candace shares a tip from local authorities. They were searching for a suspect. In a white SUV, footage showed a similar vehicle near the scene. And suddenly, the direction of the investigation shifts, because if local authorities were looking for a white SUV and federal agents were involved with a white SUV and Frank Turek was transported in a white SUV, then how many white SUVs are we talking about? That's the question no one seems willing to answer.
I had received a tip a while ago from a few police officers, a tip that I would like to confirm, but I think it should be put out into the open. After we broke the story of the rentals, of the Toyota rentals, I gave you guys the exact description. I also gave you the plates, but that could also be not relevant because if we're dealing with feds, they change the plates, obviously. Anyways, there were some good guys in the police department who had recalled, and I did confirm that I'm speaking with people at the police at the police department at the very least, who recalled something odd that happened on that day involving a white Toyota RAV4. The story goes, obviously everybody's eyes are peeled, looking for anything unusual, looking for the suspect on this manhunt.
And then the footage went viral, a clip showing a vehicle allegedly interacting with Tyler Robinson, a federal agent, according to the claims, driving a white SUV, similar to a RAV4. Let's look at the timeline. Earlier rooftop footage shows a white SUV exiting a parking lot. Right as the suspect is seen running, the vehicle turns and drives away. Then, roughly 20 minutes later, another clip surfaces, a white SUV moving in what appears to be coordination with a Dodge Challenger. The Challenger waits, then leaves. The white SUV follows closely behind. Now, some viewers noted discrepancies. A roof rack in one shot, none in another. Different angles, different lighting, but the timing, the behavior, that remains suspicious because coordination implies planning, and planning implies this wasn't random. Here's the thing. Rumors were already circulating before Candace sat down with Piers Morgan, but that interview, it intensified everything.
And there's an officer who catches a speeding car shortly after the shot is fired, and this officer is convinced that this is the killer. Like this, I'm going to be in hot pursuit of this killer. The officer pulls over the Toyota RAV4, and when the officer gets to the window, the driver of the RAV4 flashes an FBI badge. I am telling you the exact truth of it, what was communicated to me, and I would like to confirm the story because it's pretty explosive. If that is true, if Toyota RAV4 was pulled over, how do we get that? Do we have to FOIA? I don't know, and that's why I'm putting it out there, because there may be a way to even get around. I'm assuming that officer would have had to have a camera on him.
Candace accused people of controlling the narrative, of burying the truth under layers of fear and silence. Her message was direct. Someone knows more than they're saying, and the internet started connecting dots. Multiple witnesses reported seeing a white RAV4 leaving the area at high speed. Local authorities initially dismissed it, said it wasn't relevant. But then federal officials reportedly retrieved the vehicle, and after that, the trail goes cold. No updates, no statements, just silence. And in investigations like this, silence speaks louder than words. Candace showed photos of the SUV on her live show, and viewers immediately noticed something. The rear window had been replaced. The license plate was partially covered, identifying stickers that should have been visible, gone. Why would an evidence vehicle be altered? That's not standard procedure. That's concealment. Evidence is supposed to be preserved, not modified, not cleaned up, not stripped of identifying features. Unless someone doesn't want it identified, Frank Turk's account comes back into focus. He reiterates that federal agents handled the SUV. The necklace discovery becomes even more suspicious in that context. And then rumors begin to surface. Claims that the necklace had blood on it. Blood that didn't match Charlie's. No official confirmation, no denial, just law enforcement silence.
Did a federal officer get pulled over driving a Toyota RAV4? Again, this would have been shortly after the shot went off, so we're probably looking within an hour. Maybe let's widen it and say within 2 hours, a Toyota RAV4, a white Toyota RAV4 was pulled over, and a federal badge was flashed, letting that officer know that he or she was outranked. So there's that.
Okay, so the claim being made here is that an FBI agent was driving around in a white RAV4 as reported by local police when they were looking for the shooter. People are now going back to first,
and silence in cases like this fuels speculation. People start asking different questions. Whose blood was it? Why hasn't that been addressed? What else hasn't been disclosed? Candace receives another tip. This one claims to be from someone with police ties. The message is short, cryptic. Check who signed off on the vehicle transfer. Candace promises to investigate, and online users start digging, tracking vehicle records, looking for names, looking for signatures. Because if the vehicle was transferred between agencies, there's paperwork, there are records, there are names attached to decisions, and those names matter. Then something else surfaces, a Reddit post, photos of the SUV being recovered behind a government building. The post is deleted quickly. The original poster deleted their entire account, but screenshots had already been taken, shared. Archived.one image shows what appears to be a confidential tag, visible on the windshield. Censorship or standard evidence handling, depends on who you ask. But But the pattern is becoming clear. Information surfaces, information disappears. And the people who share it, they vanish too. Candace brings it back to the warning. She warned Erika Kirk about 2 people. She refuses to name them publicly, but the speculation grows.
And I do believe, so you don't have to go back and we don't have to go through it. I'm telling you what I think about Turning Point. You know, I am very known for being honest about what I believe. I'm not exactly a person that you got to pull teeth on.
Sure.
I believe that there are people at Turning Point who are engaged in covering up what happened on that day.
But were any of them engaged in the planning of the murder of Charlie Kirk?
I wouldn't know how it was planned. Absolutely, I cannot confidently make that statement. I can say confidently that I know they're engaged in the cover-up because I've been investigating what happened on that day and what transpired thereafter. I've been clear. I've named those people on my show. I've said they are engaged in the cover-up, and I've listed the lies. So you don't have to try to make something out of what I didn't say. I tell you what I think. It's already controversial. We don't need to get more controversial, okay?
Were they from Turning Point USA? Did they have law enforcement connections? Did they have inner circle knowledge? No answers, just more questions. And the longer the silence continues, the more people believe there's something to hide. Mainstream media starts to acknowledge the gaps. Social media has connected Candace's claims, Frank's testimony, and the SUV inconsistencies into a single thread. And now, even traditional outlets are noting the unanswered questions in the timeline. What started as online gossip is beginning to look like legitimate leads. Reporters who initially dismissed Candace are now circling back, asking follow-ups, requesting official statements, and getting nothing. But wait, there's more. Reports of a second white SUV, allegedly seen hours earlier. A witness claims it was parked near a construction site, lights off, following a black sedan. Security cameras were operational in the area, but no footage has been released. Why? If the cameras were working, if they captured something relevant, then where is it? Who has it? And why hasn't it been made public? These are basic transparency questions, and they're being met with silence. Candace presents her findings step by step, methodically, calmly. Critics call her reckless, dangerous, accuse her of spreading conspiracy theories. Supporters say she's asking the questions everyone else is too afraid to ask. But here's the thing, the inconsistencies she's pointing out, they haven't been explained, but they also haven't been denied. No official has come forward to say she's wrong, to clarify the timeline, to explain the necklace, to address the vehicle modifications. That's telling. The debate shifts to Tyler Robinson. Was he acting alone, or was he manipulated? Footage shows him calm during his escape, almost rehearsed, and the white SUV appears quickly nearby. That doesn't feel random. An anonymous claim surfaces. The SUV was allegedly linked to a shell company, a federal contractor. No confirmation, but the theory gains traction, because if Tyler was being guided, if someone orchestrated his movements, then everything changes. The lone wolf becomes a pawn, and the real players remain hidden. Speculation turns darker. Maybe someone was being silenced, maybe not Charlie, but someone close to him. The pattern of secrecy supports that theory.
I think someone at Turning Point pulled the trigger? No. Obviously, I don't think someone at Turning
Do you
Point
think
pulled the
anybody
trigger.
at Turning Point,
did anybody at Turning Point,
did anybody at Turning Point, in your opinion, know that Charlie Kirk was going to be murdered?
There is specifically 2 people at Turning Point USA, and I have communicated that information to Erika and Justin Strife, that I would not be surprised if they had foreknowledge of Charlie Kirk being assassinated.
But do you have any evidence?
I'm not going to name. I am not going to name those people, okay? Because it's not right for me to name those people until I know for a fact that they did.
Did you give the names Did you give the names to Erika?
Yes.
And the internet reacts. Demands for transparency flood social media. Hashtags trend. Petitions circulate, and the pressure builds. Users analyze Candace's body language during the Piers Morgan interview. Her pauses, her word choices. Some say it's fear, others say it's legal restraint. Names are speculated, but nothing is confirmed. Candace remains silent afterward. No follow-up posts, no clarifications, and that silence, it's strategic or it's forced. Either way, it adds weight to everything she said. Then the scrubbing begins. Users report videos being removed without explanation. Some accounts are suspended. It fuels the belief that someone is trying to bury this. And authorities, still silent. Platforms claim violations of community guidelines. But the content in question, it's just a question. Timelines, public statements, nothing that should violate policy, unless the policy is to suppress inquiry. Anonymous sources suggest multiple agencies were involved, different jurisdictions, different agendas. That could explain the rapid lockdown, the conflicting information, the silence. When multiple agencies are involved, coordination situation becomes complicated. Turf wars emerge, information gets siloed, and the public, they get nothing. Erika Kirk remains mostly silent. Is it self-protection, legal advice, private cooperation with investigators? No one knows. But her absence becomes part of the mystery. She was warned. She knows something, but she's not speaking, and that raises its own questions. Is she afraid? Is she being advised to stay quiet? Or is she protecting someone? Renewed claims about Tyler Robinson's movement surface. Alleged sightings hours before the event. Claims of meetings near the SUV location. None of it is officially confirmed, but the timeline keeps expanding. If Tyler was meeting with someone, if he was given instructions, if he was part of a larger operation, then the entire narrative collapses, and someone doesn't want that to happen. The SUV, the necklace, the missing footage, the timelines that don't align. Candace has forced this into public scrutiny. Whether she's exposing the truth or just shaking a system that doesn't want to be shaken, the attention is only intensifying, and with every new detail, the official story becomes harder to believe.
So
I absolutely did.
You gave the names to Erika of two employees, current employees at Turning Point, who you believe were involved in the preparation for the murder of Charlie Kirk. Is that what you're saying?
I told them that if I were in your shoes, these would be two employees that I would look further into. That's
And what
I
evidence
said.
do you have that they had any prior knowledge of the murder?
Because I don't have concrete evidence is the reason why I'm not naming them. So I've been
So you've got
responsible.
no
I'm
evidence,
not saying,
but you're telling the widow that these two people may have been involved in the murder. But you see the problem.
what the evidence for it is people that there is not concrete evidence. It's like you're trying to get me to say something that I never said and then asking me to defend it.
No, I'm asking what evidence.
Let's go back to that Piers Morgan interview, because that's where everything changed. Piers pressed her hard. He wanted specifics. He wanted names, and Candace gave him something. She admitted she warned Erika Kirk about two individuals within Turning Point USA. She didn't name them on air, but viewers who had been following her past shows, they recognized the references. The context was there. The breadcrumbs had been laid, and people started putting names to the warnings. One individual allegedly removed surveillance cameras and an SD card. The second was identified as Tyler Boyer. Social media erupted. Speculation became accusation, and the pressure mounted. If surveillance was removed, if evidence was tampered with, then this goes beyond negligence. It becomes an obstruction, and obstruction implies intent. Then another name enters the spotlight, Justin Strife. Candace says she warned Justin Strife as well, but later statements imply he may have been involved himself. Was he being warned, or was he part of the problem? The ambiguity is deliberate, or it's confusion. Either way, Justin's name is now part of the conversation. And then there's the alleged call to a French businessman named Pierre. International coordination, or coincidence. The timing raises concerns, because if calls were being made internationally on the same day, then this isn't just a domestic incident, it's something bigger. Candace demanded transparency from Turning Point USA. Now, the public is demanding transparency from Candace. Did she confront Justin directly? Did Erika follow up on the warnings? Why the silence? Legal pressure and scrutiny may explain it, but that doesn't satisfy anyone. People want answers, not implications, not cryptic warnings. Answers? Candace speaks with visible emotion in some of her statements. She had a long-standing relationship with Charlie Kirk. She trusted him, respected him, and now she's suggesting betrayal from within. This isn't just about facts anymore. It's personal. It's about loyalty, truth, accountability. And when someone speaks with that kind of emotion, people listen, because emotion doesn't lie, even when words do. So here we are. The questions remain unanswered. Who handled the evidence after the event? Who made the call to retrieve the vehicle? Who, if anyone, betrayed Charlie Kirk? The public is demanding answers. Authorities remain silent, and Candace Owens continues to push. This story is far from over, because every time someone thinks it's done, another detail surfaces, another inconsistency is revealed, another witness comes forward, and the official narrative, it's crumbling. If you want to stay informed, if you want to follow this as it develops, make sure you're subscribed, hit that like button, share this with people who need to see it, and drop a comment below with your thoughts, because the truth, it's still out there, and someone knows what it is. The only question now is whether they'll speak, or whether the silence will continue until no one's left asking.